I love to hear the sound of the ball hit the club head. That felt great. That'll play. That's okay. I like to hit him like that the rest of my life.
Tom Nieporte has been hitting him like that for the past 65 years. Ever since he first picked up a golf club as a young boy living in the small town of North College Hill, Ohio.
I grew up as a caddy, you know, and saved my money, but it just seemed like golf was good to me as a young boy growing up. We made 75 cents, and we gave the caddy master 10 cents of our 75 cents, so we went home with 65 cents. And this one member was named Herman Nepper, and on the 16th hole was a long par 5 hole. Right at the bottom of the hill, he always reached in his pocket and gave you a dime. And he said, "Son, here's your tip, don't spend it all in one place."
As a youngster, Tom was always itching to play with the big guys.
As a freshman in high school, you weren't allowed to be on the varsity. You had to wait till you were a sophomore when I went to school. But I would go out and play with our varsity, you know, just along, and I ended up having, my scores were lower than theirs, but I wasn't allowed to play.
Unlike would-be pros today, Tom didn't have a coach to help him groom his natural talent. Instead, he caddied and played in caddy tournaments. And he won tournament after tournament, enough to win a golf scholarship to Ohio State, where he continued to play and win until he was drafted into the Army to play even more golf.
That's all I did was play. Well, I shouldn't say that. Somebody might be listening, but some of my old captains and colonels and generals, I spent 2 years in the Army in Hawaii. Sometimes I almost had to tell my higher ups, you know, I can't play with you today. I got work to do on my desk. They said, forget about that desk. You come out and play golf with us. I was very lucky. Golf was so good to me. I tried to be a good, soldier when I was there, because, the Korean War was not for fun, and the terrain in Hawaii was just like Korea. And you train there, you're on your way to Korea, but they wanted me to play on the Army golf team there. And I just feel like it saved my life.
After he got discharged from the Army, Tom figured he'd join the rest of the talented golfers his age, guys like Billy Casper and Arnold Palmer, who were going on tour with backing from sponsors. But Casper and Palmer didn't have Joe Nieporte for a father.
He was a tough German, my father. Arnold Palmer and all the great players at my age, Billy Casper, they were all getting on the tour, and they all had sponsors. They get a group of 20 guys that throw in $500 or $1,000 and send you out on the tour. And I thought I could do that with somebody, but my father wouldn't let me do it, because he said, you go earn your money and then you go out on a tour.
Tom's father taught him if he wanted something badly enough, he'd have to do it on his own, even if it meant hitchhiking a ride to his own golf tournament.
I'm playing the finals of the Cincinnati Junior Tournament, and my best buddy was driving a car at the time, and he would drive me with him because he was playing in the tournament, but then he became eliminated from the tournament. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to get from North College Hill across the city of Cincinnati to this course called Wyoming Country Club. So I thought on Saturday morning my father, was going to, take me there. So I woke him up and I said to my dad, we got to get going, because I'm going to be playing this match in finals Cincinnati Junior. And he said, well, son, didn't you figure out how you were going to get there if you were going to get to the finals? He said, get that bag and get out on that highway and start hitchhiking. So I got my bag and my gloves and my shoes, and I started, hitchhiking all these different rides. But I get there, my dad's standing on the first tee.
If his father instilled in Tom a mental toughness, his mother gave him his softer side.
She was there with the first day I went out to caddy. She said, put that towel on your shirt, it won't hurt your shoulder, from the bag. she was there, you know. She was always supporting me and complimenting me and everything else like that. I think my personality probably comes a lot from my mother in so many ways, but you know, heck, that dinner was always in the oven. If I wanted to hit those golf balls on that driving range or someplace like that when I was a boy growing up and I came home late, it was always there, you know. You get a little tear talking about it because she was so good, you know. She was a great mom.
Determined to earn enough money to go out on the PGA Tour, Tom left his hometown of North College Hill, Ohio, to become assistant golf pro at the Siwanoy Country Club in Bronxville, earning a salary of $25 a week. Not exactly the kind of income to woo the daughter of a Siwanoy board member.
I like to go to church, and so when I came to Bronxville to take this job at Siwanoy, they said, well, there's this novena, you know, it's a St. Joseph's Church there in Bronxville. So I went there that one night, and I see this girl with her head down on the pew there, and I said, are you praying or are you sleeping? And there weren't that many people at the church. And she said, well, I'm praying. And she said, why don't you come back and have a Coke with us tonight? And, you know, and it ends up being that her father was on the board that hired me to come there as an assistant pro.
Fortunately for Tom, Joan's father liked both Tom and golf.
He liked me. And he was a good golfer. He just liked my personality, and he said he wanted me to come work for him. I said, oh no, he was in the textile business. I said, no, I like golf too much. I'm going to stay in golf. And heck, I'd gone to Ohio State, and I felt I was as good as anyone, but I wanted to be a golf pro. I didn't want to be a dentist or a lawyer or a doctor.
Tom and Joan married within 9 months. 9 months later, they had their first child, a little girl named Joey. And then Tom started playing golf for real.
And I got enough money, $800, that my wife and I decided we had our little baby Joey, and we took off at the LA Open on the West Coast in a little two-door Chevy. And that's where it all started.
Tom soon found out that the money dried up fast on the PGA Tour.
$800 then, you know, back in 1954 was a lot of money, I thought, you know, but it wasn't when you go across country and you start buying gas and motel rooms and caddy fees and entry fees and food.
But having next to no money proved to be a great motivator for the young pro.
On a Sunday morning, after we went to Mass, we were driving to the club, and Joan said, well, how much money do we have left? And I told her, I said, we only have $30 left. And we're playing the last round of the Tucson Open at El Rio Country Club. And I'll never forget it, because I ended up shooting a 64 with 3 bogeys. And I went from 21st on the money list to 4th. And in those days, I won $900.
The prize money was a windfall, but it wasn't in Tom's pocket just yet.
He gave my $30 to my caddy, and I said, I'll give you a little more money when I get my check cash. But I had to go borrow $30 from a friend of mine, George Bingham from Cleveland. I said, George, I don't have any money. I said, but I won $900, but I said, I'll pay you next week once I get my check. But can you loan me some so I can get to San Antonio, Texas? And he said, sure, how much you want to borrow? And I said, $30 will get me there. So we went out and celebrated, you know, that I won the tournament, or finished 4th. I felt like I won the tournament, and we had a steak. And then we drove all night long, all the way into San Antonio, Texas. I won money in that tournament, and won money at the Houston Open, the next tournament. And I called the golf pro back and told him, I'm not coming back. You better look for an assistant pro, because I know I can make money now on this tour.
Tom and Joan's family quickly grew, but that didn't stop Tom from playing the tour.
Our first daughter, Maureen, was Joey, and then we had Joe. Our next son was Tom Jr., and the next girl was Penny. So those 4 children there ended up with us on the tour.
And when Tom wasn't playing tournaments, he was playing with his children, something he took some ribbing for on the PGA circuit.
I'd be in amusement parks with the 4 kids, putting them on roller coasters and Ferris wheels. When I got down to San Diego, Doc, in the newspaper title, it said there in the sports page, is Tom Nieporte threat to win San Diego Open if diapers are out of the way. I started reading this article that, you know, you thought I had a lot of great talent, but I'm always spending all my time on laundromats with cleaning diapers, because we didn't have throwaway diapers in those days. We had so many. We had diapers in our car, like on long trips. I'd open up the trunk, the hood of the car, and stick them in the front. I had them all over the place. Oh my gosh. That's why you might be right. I spent all my time on laundromats.
Tom credits Joan for keeping the family together, living on the road in motels away from home.
When she said, "Sit there until I take it off that chair," they sat there. They didn't try to get off that chair. You could have never traveled with 4 children if they weren't disciplined. And they were all good kids, and they had a great time. They loved it, you know, but they just knew what was right and what was wrong.
Tom kept playing and winning, but his family also kept growing. After 5 years on the tour, their 5th child was born, and Tom knew he had to make a decision.
I told Joan, if I'm not a superstar after 5 or 6 years, when Joey has to go to that 1st grade, that's when I'll leave the tour. And I was 16th on the money list. I had, you know, was showing that I had some talent and everything like that, but I just felt that I should leave the tour and be closer to home.
It was a decision Tom Nieporte has never regretted. He and Joan went on to have 9 children.
Boy, we wouldn't want to do without either one. We never wanted to stop at 8. That's Mimi at 9, so we were always happy to have all 9 of them.
And their grandchildren now number 27.
It's unbelievable. And to see each one of those little children, you know, the faces on them and their little personalities is so cute. But boy, when that picture's taken and we all stand there, it looks like a school.
Golf continued to be kind to Tom, who stayed at home as a golf pro most of the year, but still played the winter circuit. He won 3 times on the tour, including the Bob Hope Desert Classic in 1967, becoming the first and only club pro to win a tour event.
This is Tom Nieporte, who would love to win this tournament. For those of you who love families, this man, his wife is expecting their 8th child in a short while. We'll say 12 feet, and we'll also say to Tom Nieporte, it must look like 112
It's a
feet.
5-round tournament.
His putt for a
And when I was over that 12-footer on my last hole, which was the 90th hole, and when I was lining it up, I said to myself, you deserve to make this putt. You worked hard in golf as much as anyone else. And I went and tapped it right in.
Did not waste any time. And Tom Nieporte takes the lead in the car. Tom Nieporte, the popular winner, and a
I
popular...
would like to say hello to my wife, my 7 children at home, Joe.
Your 7 children?
Yeah.
7 children? May I shake your hand again? Is that a PGA record, Bob? I don't know, but when do you practice?
I won the Bob Hope 6 years after I left the tour. And I was the last pro to do that.
Golf was something that came naturally to him.
I had a natural swing. They felt that it was a lot like Sam Snead, where I just picked the club up, wound up, and let it go. And it looked very fluid and real natural, with a good personality to go along with it. And maybe those combinations is what you needed to play competitive golf.
But even as he was playing the winter tour, Tom felt a big piece missing from those earlier, crazier years on the road with his young family in tow.
By the time we got to Tucson, Arizona, I wrote a poem to my wife, Joan, about thinking of you, Joan Deere, was the title of it. And all these things that we saw, like the motels where we stayed together and these parks where I'd push the kids on the swings, and I would see, and they remind me all of her. It was kind of hard, being out there alone trying to, you know, I said, is this all worth it?
In 1978, Tom Nieporte got what he calls the biggest break of his life, an offer to be the head pro at the Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck.
I mean, all the golf pros out there would like to have my job.
Not a bad place to come to work.
No, that's right. Every day to look out over those 36 holes. Woo!